everything, oh yes. We are the water, sing clear, oh yes. We are the water, sing clear, oh yes. We are the water, we are all the light, oh yes. We are the ancient one. We are the ancient one. In your breath and bones will sing on. We are one. We are the meadow come. We are the meadow come. We are the light that sings the new day has begun. We are the new day, run, run, run. We are the new day, run, run, run. We are the old and we are the young. We are one. Many would show me sing clear, yes. Many would show me sing clear, yes. Many would show me water is a land for everything, oh yes. We are the water, sing clear, oh yes. We are the water, sing clear, oh yes. We are the water, we
I think we're all here, Amanda.
Okay.
Go ahead and get started. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to be together today. Today's session, we're going to be talking about activism. And we're going to have some activists visiting with us and sharing their experience, both adult and youth. And we'll be exploring ways we can find our own voice as well. Have you ever, can you go back to the first slide, Amanda, real quick? Has anyone here actually heard that song before that was playing that time? I can see you, even if you can't see me. No, I see a lot of no's. Any idea where that might come from? Could you see the images a little bit in the video? Pip's giving me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Those images in that song were the theme for Standing Rock. Have you ever heard of Standing Rock? No? Okay, well, we're going to hear a lot about it today because the visitors that we have coming to talk to us were part of that movement to protest the Dakota Access Pipeline. And they're advocates of Native Americans in the United States. So we'll hear from them when they get here. In the meantime, we're going to be going back to, here we go. Can we skip to the next one now, Amanda? Great. Okay. So far in the Ms. President program this year, we've already talked about women's history and leadership. We've met some local leaders and some state leaders, and today's session is about finding your voice. We will be hearing from federal leaders as we move on, but you can imagine that as the new Congress is getting ready to take on their new roles, that they are really, really busy. So instead of having them today, we've shifted our timeline a little bit to give them time to get settled in, and hopefully we will connect with them once they are back to work. And we're also going to be practicing our public speaking and debate skills in some of the coming sessions. But today we're going to be working on finding our voice. So the next slide, we get to go back to Natalie. Natalie left us at the end of the last session with a description about our dream boards. So today we're going to go back to that vision board and the Padlet that everybody contributed to, which is super fun. I was really excited to see what you all contributed to that. We're going to go back into breakout rooms and explore the contributions that you made to the dream boards. But I'm going to hand back over to Natalie to talk a little bit more about it. I don't see her yet. I know she's here. Can we hand over to her?
I'm right here. Not really sure if you can see me.
Yes. Hi, Natalie.
Hey, hi everyone. Okay, so I remember we were doing the dream boards, and if you guys remember, a dream board is basically, it could be a piece of paper, whatever you want it to be. It's a place that you can put all of your goals, everything you want to accomplish, and things that you want to accomplish in the future as well on this piece of paper. Also, going into 2021, it's nice to have a dream board because we can also look at this dream board and think, this is what I want for myself, this is what I want to accomplish, this is what I am planning to do for the future. So whatever you guys added into the Padlet is part of your dream board, and that's really important. And I cannot wait to see and hear what you guys have to say about why you added certain things in and what impact they have in your lives. So yeah.
Are we still waiting for a couple group? Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Okay, guys. Hi. So I bet you guys have discussed, all about the vision boards and everything you put on it. And here's some questions I'd like to ask you guys. So what did you find most challenging with this activity? Anyone can raise their hand or just unmute. Whether it was finding pictures or finding, interests of yours, what did you find most difficult? Elise?
You can put it in the chat too if we can't see you raise your hand.
To me, most difficult was probably thinking about like my goals for the future, because I don't know, that's not something I typically think about.
Yeah, I completely agree. Does anyone else have another, challenge they had while they were trying to put together their vision board? You can put it in the chat or unmute. Maggie, do you have anything to say? Alrighty, so this is our next question. What is the most important thing you learned about yourself while doing this vision board? Does anyone have anything? Okay, so maybe when I did my vision board, something that I learned about myself is that I like vibrant colors. Like, I was just putting together a lot of, pictures that had really pretty colors. And at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So, something that you could have learned about yourself is, looking to the future. Oh my gosh, I want this really, really pretty house in Texas or something, So just, looking into your future and thinking of, what is most important to you and what you can learn about yourself, basically. Oh, Anaya, I see you're raising your hand.
I really didn't know what I was going to be when I grew up, but when I did the vision board, it really helped me think what I wanted to be.
That's so good. That's literally the goal of it. So I'm so happy that, that happened. And Allison, go ahead.
It's kind of like you, but I also learned that I like kind of more dark colors, and I like searching up things online.
That's really good. I like that. Alrighty, so we have 2 more questions. And after sharing in your groups, what have you guys learned about one another? What are some things that your group, one of the girls in your group mentioned that they put on their vision board, and vice versa, if you remember? Anyone? Don't be shy. You can put it in the chat if you don't want to speak up. Okay, so I could tell you guys what I learned about the girls in my group. I learned that one of the girls likes cheerleading and is very passionate about it. And another loves to write and would love to become a writer and has gone through different phases of, wanting to become, like a marine biologist to wanting to become a writer. So that's something I learned about the girls in my group. So if anyone else would like to share before I move on to the next question, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Alrighty, so our final question is, oh no, we have someone. I like to bake, and another girl said she likes to bake and open a bakery like me. That is so nice. You found someone with, similar interests as you. That's really, really great. And our last question is, what might you add to your vision board that you did not, think of adding while you were doing it? Or something, you discovered something someone else likes and you're like, oh my gosh, I like that too. So what might you add to your vision board is our last question. And I want to hear from maybe 3 people. So Maggie?
I learned that someone else in my group, Evelyn, actually said she likes to bake, and I realized that I like to do that too.
That's really cool. I really like that. I like baking too. What do you like baking specifically?
Cookies, I guess.
Nice. Yes, I love that. Anyone else love to share? 2 more people or 1 more person?
Lisa, are you raising your hands?
I think it's Catherine.
Allison?
Catherine?
Yeah. One of the girls in my group liked cupcakes, and I like cupcakes.
Ooh, that's really nice. So I see a lot of people like, baking and all these treats, and someone else likes ballet. That's really nice. And our last person, Allison, do you have anything to share?
Well, it wasn't in my group. No one said this in my group, but just before this meeting, I was just drawing stuff, and then I realized, oh wait, I forgot to add this to my vision board.
That's really good. Got to get that on there if that's something you really like to do. So I hope you guys, learned a lot through this vision board activity, and, got to really look into the future or in the present and see what you guys want to accomplish and what goals you guys have, for your futures. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Natalie. One thing I'd like you guys to think about is that the vision board can grow with you as your interests change and grow, and you can continue to keep it with you as something that you can look to for inspiration as you grow up. We have a Kahoot this afternoon as a sort of an introduction to, oh, I see some excitement now, yay! Now we're gonna move on to Kavya. Kavya, thanks for the Kahoot, Mrs. Mitchell, that was awesome. Now we're gonna move on to Kavya. Kavya is gonna introduce our guest speakers. Hi, Kavya.
Hi. All right. So today we have our panelists, Liseli Haines and Buffy Curtis. And these are our visitors for today. So I'm just going to ask you guys a few questions. You can decide which order you want to answer in. So Liseli and Buffy are partners and they're Quakers. They helped organize and paddled the two-row wampum renewal campaign in 2013 from Albany to Manhattan. They're allies of and work with Native Americans, specifically the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing anything wrong.
Perfect.
And they lead workshops on building relationships with Native American people, and they have a special relationship with Oneida women. All right, so first, just introductory, please tell us what you do now and why your role is important.
Thank you for the introduction, Kanya. It's a real honor to be here and to be able to talk with all you girls. This is very exciting. It's really funny because I think we don't think of ourselves as activists, which is the strange part of the invitation. But we find ourselves in the middle of doing lots and lots of different things. Of course, the COVID has sort of slowed a whole lot of things down for all of us, which makes it a little harder than we would normally have it. But we are actually still involved with the workshop that we were doing called The Roots of Injustice, or Witness to Injustice. And that workshop is now being put online virtually. And it's an experiential workshop about the history of the Native relationships and genocide in this country. So it's a pretty powerful experience. So we're doing that. And actually, before we were here, we had to come in and kick our boots off and get set down in a hurry because we have been meeting out on our village green now for almost 30 weeks for a Black Lives Matter rally where we stand every Friday afternoon with signs and stand in peace and justice. So I'll let Liseli talk a little bit.
The other thing that I'm very involved in is environmental concerns locally. And that runs the gamut from working with the town and the village on the Climate Smart Community from New York State. It's a New York State program. And also working on my own relationship to the world and to the land, which is maybe not activism, but it's really important as well.
I think our self-education. The COVID is really giving us the opportunity to do a lot more self-education. So it never stops, guys. It feels like, well, we just get to a place and we're going to get to be so old and then we don't have to learn anymore. And then you discover there's that much more to learn.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. So, what was your experience like in middle and high school, and how did it lead you to where you are today? Because that's sort of the age group that we are.
Yeah.
Well, I think middle and high school, I was standing on vigils then too, as I was this afternoon. Our Quaker meeting had a silent vigil in protest of the war in Vietnam. And we stood on a very busy street corner near a very busy mall. And just every week it was a silent vigil. So there always have been things that have been really important to stand up for. And, silent vigil is not using your voice from your mouth, but it's using your body as a sign of what you believe in.
Yeah, I think I did the same. I do remember in high school that I was very, very upset by what was going on with the voting rights and the civil rights work. And I remember asking my parents if I could go down south. And to their credit, they actually inquired of some relatives that we had down there, whether or not it would be possible. But at the time, they said it would be way too dangerous for someone my age and a white young woman to go down there at the time. So I feel like I've had a sense of needing to write injustice for a really long time. But then when I got to college was when I was able to get very involved, because you hear of children of the 60s, well, that's us. We were children of the 60s.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you guys grew up in a time that's, very important for civil rights. So that's great. And what advice do you have for young girls today?
Be very brave. Be very brave and trust your inner knowing. And sometimes it's really, really hard to know that. It's hard to know what that is. And so if I had to advise you on anything, it would be to make sure that you find a grown-up that you can truly trust, that you can check your ideas with, and trust your own inner feeling. So if you see something that doesn't feel right, and somebody says, oh, don't worry about it, it's not a problem, but it still feels bad to you, then trust that and know that maybe that's your inner knowing saying, this is an injustice that I need to speak out about, or I need to do something for. And we both know that sometimes you don't even need a voice. You can just put your body there, but you want to do it safely, and you want to do it with people that you trust.
I think the important thing is finding something that you really love, something that is really important to you, and thinking of all the ways you could raise your voice in support of that, because it may be that it's something that does not have a voice of its own. It may be that it's something that something that's voice has been silenced, and we can be a help to make those voices heard, whether it's standing on a vigil or going to talk to your representative in the government about it, or many other writing letters to the editor. There are many, many ways that you can support those that do not have a voice.
And volunteering, at doing something that you love, whether it's planting trees or helping to grow a garden, or as Liseli said, being able to find a place where you can give someone or something. Nature needs a voice right now. Our work right now is with Indigenous peoples because their voices are starting to rise, but they don't have the access that we as white people do. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you. That is very helpful. And so we just have one more question, and then we're going to open up to a Q&A with the girls. So my last question for you is, what is your proudest accomplishment so far?
Oh boy. You might have to go first.
I think in a way for me, it has been finding those things that are really important to me. And it was when Buffy and I went to a workshop on that we now lead, that we attended as participants, the workshop, and we came out of it and said, we have to do this. We have to be trained to do this. And to have the courage to stand up and do it, find out how to get trained and how to bring it to other people. And we've traveled to a lot of different states and even to Canada. It was before COVID.
Yeah.
Bringing it. So it almost finding my voice there was one of my proudest moments.
I'm not sure I can talk about pride, but what I can talk about is wow, I really did that. And one of those places is actually raising my 6 children. And the other with Liseli and I, that was a really bonding experience for us, was paddling 150 miles down the Hudson River with about 500 other people. And then listening, as Liseli said, for the things that say, this I need to do. And that the other piece was when we went to Standing Rock 4 years ago, I literally woke up one night and said, I have to do this. And I hate the cold. And I had, it was not time to go do that. And we needed to do that. So I think I'm proudest of the moments when I know that there are things that I have to do. I may not want to do them. I may feel very challenged by how to do them. But I do know that when I'm faithful, and I use that word in being honest with myself, that way will open, that all of a sudden what seems like a challenge gets easy. So and the right people show up to help me. That's the other piece that really is delightful. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So just one last thing. Can you just talk a little bit more about your experience at Standing Rock?
Okay, she says it's me. Well, we were out there at the last weekend. Standing Rock was a Native organized protest to stop the oil company from drilling underneath their major water source. And in fact, it was begun by young people. There was probably a dozen young Indigenous boys and girls that literally ran from North Dakota to Washington, D.C. to try and get help. And that's where it started. And then they came back to Pine Ridge Reservation and started the protest of literally sitting in. They were doing a sit-in and trying to blockade the oil company from drilling. And our experience there was sort of at the end of where they had been probably 9 months, with starting out with just a handful of people that grew and grew and grew. The weekend we were there were 15,000 people there in the snow and the cold. And it was the day that President Obama said they couldn't do it. So it was called denial of the easement. And we as a group had surrounded the whole camp in prayer and holding hands. And then we heard that he had denied the easement. And then we got caught in a really bad blizzard, but it took us a long time to get home.
That's a really amazing story. I actually just got chills.
You should have been there. It was really cold.
So now I'm going to open it up for a Q&A with the girls. So if you guys want to raise your hands or, just raise your hands. I can see everyone. So I can call on you. Yeah. Or if you have a question, you can also type it in the chat. Yeah, Lisa, I see your hand.
How do you go everywhere and do a lot of things? You said you went to Canada. What did you do in Canada?
We've been to Canada for a couple of different reasons, because we are in the Haudenosaunee territory. The Haudenosaunee are people who used to be known as the Iroquois, but the Haudenosaunee is what they call themselves. And part of their nation is in Ontario, Canada. We did go to give our workshop there at a Quaker meeting in Ontario, but we have also gone to Canada to do paddling in the two-row on the Grand River, which is, we've done that 3 years or
three summers.
3 summers. And this is something that we have, when we're working, we have to take vacation time, or things that we can do on weekends. Mm-hmm. I am fortunately retired now, so I have a lot more time, which is interesting because we can't really go anywhere right now. Does that answer your question?
I work for myself, so both of us have a lot more time than if we were still working. But I hope that helps you know why we go to Canada and we miss it. Thanks for asking, though.
All right, Elise, what's your question?
You said like what if it's something small that you like, if it's something you see that doesn't feel right? Like what if it's something small? Like on my bus there's a boy who sometimes gets bullied, and I don't really know how to stop that.
That's a really good question, honey. Thank you for asking. Because it all starts with even the small stuff. It feels like we've done lots and lots of big things, but it all starts with doing the little things. And if I think I understand you, you said there's a boy on your bus that gets worried, or does he get bossy? So if you could just clarify that for me, I'd like to know. Both. Both. It sounds like he's afraid. So when there's a bully, oftentimes they're afraid and they want to be in charge. And I think I had a bully on my bus when I was a kid, and I had to stick up for my sister. And it was one of the scariest things I think I've ever done, because it's hard he gets bullied. Well, if there is a bully, try to stand up to them. And if he's getting bullied, the best thing you can do is just go and sit with him and just try to be his friend. So help to protect him. And you don't have to say anything. You can just sit with him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that hard? Was it hard to do?
Yeah.
It's scary to do that, isn't it? Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. But if you can find the courage and maybe tell your friends that you think that it's not fair that he's being bullied, maybe you and a friend just sit near him and keep him company and keep him safe.
Thank
I
you.
hope that helped.
Yeah, thank you. So, Pip, I think I saw in the chat you have a question, right?
I do. So I have a question for you. I have two, but I'm not sure if you can answer both of them. So one of mine was, so you told us that you traveled to like different states to do things, but did you travel to like different countries to do things too?
I didn't hear it.
So if I heard you right, you wanted to know whether we go to other countries.
Yes.
I wish. I truly wish. I haven't had a chance to get to Europe yet in my whole life. But going to Canada is a different country. And so we have had the great pleasure of being able to do that. Okay. So we've gone up there for several summers, and then we've been up a couple of times, and we go through Canada a lot sometimes when we're traveling. But we've been to lots of different states.
Okay, thank you.
And for my part, I actually have been to several other countries and have lived in several other countries while I was growing up with my family. And also I took my 3 children and we lived in Nicaragua for a year. And traveling is a wonderful experience because you can learn so much from people in other countries, and you can see what it is, what their lives are really like if you live with them, and find out what their problems are, what their fears are, what their hopes are, what their dreams are. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity if you can do it, and maybe not even just traveling as a tourist, but traveling to live somewhere else for a while with your parents, or even later on.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Do we have any more questions? Because if not, then I think I'm going to pass it on to Maya for our stretching break. So anyone, any more questions?
We just want to say thank you for inviting us and thank you for letting us share with you. And we're happy to come and visit with you anytime. I think what you guys are doing is fantastic, simply fabulous.
Thank you
so
so
excited
much
for you all.
And before they go away, I think we might be singing a song together. So before we jump to Maya, we would like to go to the lyrics of the song and maybe join together.
So it works best, unfortunately, but it really does work best when we all mute except for us, so that you can sing at home, but you'll hear us singing. So Amanda tells me that you sang that song, you heard that song at the beginning. So we're going to sing it without any music behind us right now, just the two of us singing. And it's part of what we do at our workshop.
And the song is Mini-Wachoni, which means water is life. And it was a song that was written by someone after she had gone to Standing Rock, Sarah Thompson, who I believe is from Connecticut.
I think so.
So somewhere near you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All my relations come, every nation come, all my relations under the sun. We are one, we are praying come, we are praying come. We are the song and we are the drum. We are one. We are the river come. We are the river come. We are the boat, the paddle, the shore. We are one. Mini-Wachoni sing. Mini-Wachoni sing. Mini-Wachoni, water is life for everything. We are the water, sing. We are the water, sing. We are the water, we are where all life begins. We are the ancient ones. We are the ancient ones. In your breath and bones we sing on. We are one. We are the meadow come. We are the meadow come. We are the lark that sings a new day has begun. We are the new day, run, run, run. We are the new day, run, run, run. We are the old and we are the young. We are one. We are the earth and sky. We are the thunder cry. We are the fire. We are the light in your eyes. We are standing strong, like a rock, like a stone. On this sacred ground we belong. We are home. Mini-Wachoni sing. Mini-Wachoni sing. Mini-Wachoni, water is life for everything. We are the water, sing. We are the water, sing. We are the water, we are where all life begins. All my relations come. All my relations come. All my relations under the sun. We are one. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
invitation. It was a treat. Be well, you all.
Okay, ladies. Now that your hearts have grown, let's stretch our bodies too. I'm going to hand over to Maya, and she's going to lead us in a stretch break. Maya?
Hi, so everyone can just get up. And so we're just gonna start off by touching our toes. I'm sorry if you can't see me. Okay. We start off by touching our toes. So bend down and touch your toes. And we do this in dance every day because it's a good leg exercise to stretch out your legs. So just try to keep your legs straight and try and touch your toes, and we're going to stay here for 10 seconds. All right, you guys can stand up straight now. Now we're going to do some head rolls, and this is really good for your neck, especially when you're just sitting there staring at a screen. It's good to kind of stretch your neck out. So you're just going to roll it all around. Then you're going to reverse it. Just do it a couple times. All right, so now we're going to do something to stretch your feet out. And you're just going to go on tippy toes and go back down and go up and down, up, down. All right, good job. So now we're going to put our arms on our hips and take the other arm and just go over. And we do this and dance every day. And we're going to go to the other side. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed and are all stretched out now.
Thank you, Maya.
Thanks, Maya.
Yeah.
For the next section, we have, let's see. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you, Amanda. So these are the ideas that you guys generated a couple of sessions ago about issues that were important to you on that day. And as we are hearing from our visitors and thinking about finding our voice, we just wanted to remind you guys of the great ideas you have already shared about issues that are really compelling to you. So subjects that you might be inspired to raise your voice about. These are things that you guys had on your minds. Climate change, COVID, yeah, these are all really pertinent right now. But then, like Elise said, it could be smaller things, everyday things that you encounter too. Things that are especially important in your life right now. So as we continue on, we now have, we're going to be hearing from a few of the mentors who are part of our program. And they're going to be sharing some of their experience. And it will be moderated for the first time by one of our participants. It's going to be moderated by Evelyn. Evelyn Nunes is a 4th grader at Cider Mill. She is a junior in her 5th year of Girl Scouts. And she, like Maya, enjoys ballet and jazz. She also likes to cook, like many of you, and do crafts. Evelyn, I'm handing it over to you.
Okay. So Bella, Hersha, Marley, and Katie are our panel of youth activists today. They're going to tell us about what they do to raise their voices about what they care about. Okay, I have some questions to ask you guys. So I'm going to ask you all 5 questions. So first, I'm going to ask, how about Marley? What is your issue and why do you think it is important?
So my issue is anti-Semitism, and I think it's very important because I am Jewish, and in Ridgefield, where I live, there aren't a lot of Jews, and so I think community is very important, and I just want to make sure that everyone feels safe and involved. So, yeah.
Okay, and Hersha, what is your issue and why do you think it is important?
So something I've been focusing on for like about the past year is equal education access. I visited a school in India last year in my most recent trip, and I visited an all-girls school that my uncle started a few years back. And it was the first of its kind in the area. And before then, they would have to travel really far or just stay at home and do whatever they can to get education where they were. And I think that education, like sometimes we take for granted what we have here in America. And I think it's like a human right that everyone has the opportunity to be educated and even just like have a book that they can read, which I saw that a lot of the girls at the school I visited didn't have. So like even to this day, there's a large gap between education that males and females receive all over the world. So I'm working, I started a nonprofit to try to build a bridge between that gap and help supplement the education of girls all over the world.
Wow, that's great. Okay, and Katie, what is your issue and why do you think it's important?
So my issue is environmentalism, which just basically means I'm doing whatever I can to help and improve the state of our environment. And I'm a part of Wilton Go Green. I've been a part of that since early in my freshman year of high school. And it's very important to me because each year the temperature of our earth is rising and more pollutants are being released into our earth, which are impacting all of the plants and animals, all our wildlife. So each year, as it's getting worse and worse, we just need to be more involved and do whatever we can, whether it's big or small, to help the state of the environment. And I think it's just really essential because like we cannot survive without the earth. And if we don't keep it clean and safe, then for us, then we can't survive. So.
That is awesome. Okay, and then Bella, what is your issue and why do you think it's important?
Hi, thanks, Evelyn. Yeah, so my issue is food allergy awareness and like education as well. I think it's so important, like for me personally, like I have a severe like peanut and tuna like food allergy, which is like life-threatening. And especially in like the modern world, like food allergies are so common. I'm sure some of you have like food allergies as well. My 2 siblings both have like nut allergies too. So it's definitely like a big concern for my family. My mom is also very involved as well. I think it's an important like problem to focus on just because there is still so much to be solved about it. For example, like there really is no cure for like food allergies. Like we have like EpiPens, but even those are like so expensive, especially for families that are less fortunate. Like one child with food allergies is like an extra like $4,000 like dollars each year because of like EpiPens, of having to have like extra doctor's appointments for testing and everything. And just in general, like it's a big like expense, and food allergies can be life-threatening. So it's really important, I think, to really focus on that.
Okay, and now, so Hersha, how did you find your voice and how did you become involved?
So like I said, last year I visited a school and I was really inspired to try to do what I can to help girls in underprivileged areas, just learn about technology and different things that they might not learn in school. So like I started off just like sending books over with like my mom who was going to India or anyone who I knew that could drop books off. And slowly they started building like a little library, which wasn't there before. So just doing small things can even help. And I know that donating books or maybe giving computers to a school in India won't bridge like the large gap that there is, but even just doing some small things can definitely puts us on the right path.
Great. Marley, how did you find your voice and how did you become involved?
So I am a Hebrew school teacher in Richfield, and I'm also part of the ADL, which is Anti-Defamation League, and I'm a mentor there. And we make sure that kids that face anti-Semitism, it doesn't happen to come again, and we just make sure that everyone is comfortable and everyone feels like they're included. And I think like my religion is very important to me, and it makes me feel safe.
Yeah. Bella, how did you find your voice and how did you become involved?
Yeah, so my mom like influenced me a lot. She is part of FAIR, which is like a worldwide like organization. FAIR stands for Food Allergy Research and Education. And through her, I really got involved. I was able to gain like a lot of confidence, especially knowing that I had a lot of support from her and a lot of other people with food allergies. I was able to like volunteer in workshops. I also was able to get a grant for a walk where I ran like the activity section. I also helped to run a 5K. And right now, currently, I am working with another student from Westport, and we're trying to put together a food allergy support group. So that is in the process. But I would definitely say my mom helped me a lot from my voice, and just knowing that it's a really common issue and I'm able to help not only myself, but like a lot of people around me as well.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to question 3. Wait, did I get everyone for question 2? No. Okay. Katie, how did you find your voice and how did you become involved?
So for me, I kind of was inspired when I took a trip to a small coastal town in Florida that we visit often, my family and I, and I just saw all of these different actions they had put in place to help the environment, and so much they were doing in like this extremely small town because they like can see it, and it's like it's affected in their town because they do have a lot of wildlife and animals in their oceans. And in Wilton or in Ridgefield, wherever we're from around here, you might not see it as much just because we live in a different area. So I just didn't see a lot of action necessarily being taken in our town. So I reached out to the organization in my town, Wilton Go Green, and I got involved with them in my freshman year. So now I'm a committee member on there, and I work to help with our zero waste fair, kind of educate kids also about the topic because there's definitely a gap with that in our system, and kind of just get a lot of people involved in it and help around the world. And I think that's super important.
Now I'm going to move on to question number 3. Okay, Harsha, what was your experience in middle school and high school, and how did it lead you to where you are today? I think you guys like are in high school right now, all of you, so I think it's more of like beginning of high school and middle school.
My family really helped me like from an early age. I saw my parents and my brothers, they were all like encouraging me to be a leader and just pursue what I was passionate about and try to make a difference. So in elementary and middle school, I kind of wanted to be a leader in different things. And I started in student council or would volunteer with different groups with Lion's Heart. So, and then after doing a bunch of different programs, I kind of found what I was passionate about, which was, as I said, like equal education access. And then from there, I'm just trying to do what I can to help anyone who I can.
Sorry, I thought I was muted. Marley, what was your experience in middle school and high school, and how did it lead you to where you are today?
So in middle school, I faced some acts of anti-Semitism myself. And I also go to a Jewish sleepaway camp where we fight anti-Semitism and learn about Zionism. And also my family, all this influenced me to help other people and to support my local Jewish community.
Katie, what was your experience in middle school and high school, and how did it lead you to where you are today?
Yeah, when I was just first starting in middle school, I felt like there wasn't necessarily a lot of education about our environment and the state of it. I feel like it was a little bit more covered up. And then I'm not sure if any of you guys are in middle school at Wilton, but Mrs. Priest, who was the family consumer science teacher at the time, I'm not sure if she's still there, but she started to input a lot of different initiatives to help the environment and get people educated, like inputting a garden, composting. I think she helped with getting solar panels possibly in the school, and that started to educate me and opened my eyes to it. And I thought that was really amazing. So then when I had my experience, when I went on that trip, I was really wanting to get involved, and I was definitely nervous going into it, but everyone at Wilton Go Green was so welcoming and encouraging of me, and getting me involved like early in high school, even though I was definitely nervous, and they were so glad that I wanted to. So that definitely helped me and helped me get involved and has kept me going all the way to today.
Bella, what was your experience in middle school and high school, and how did it lead you to where you are today?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like it, as a kid, my food allergy was really like, my parents were really responsible for it. Like, I feel like I didn't have a lot of independence when it came to that. And finally in middle school, I started to like experience more of that. I even had a reaction myself, which kind of like opened my eyes to like how serious like food allergies are and how necessary like EpiPens are for like everyone that has a food allergy. I definitely think that in general, like in middle school and like even the beginning of high school, like I've gotten like a lot of support from others. Like a lot of my friends have also like helped me with that as well. So I feel like that really gave me confidence to keep going. And I guess a final thing, which I'm sure many of you have seen in your cafeterias as well, but I used to be part of the nut-free table, which to me was kind of an experience because I was like the only girl that was at the nut-free table. And I felt kind of left out for like a food allergy, which I thought was like, you know, not something that should happen. So this really like helped me like really focus and realize like this is something I really want to like do and pursue in order to find a cure.
Okay. Hersha, or actually Hersha, what is your vision for the future?
Well, hopefully in the future, everyone, in terms of like the issue I'm focusing on, has access to education and technology in this day and age, which is so important to be exposed to at an early age, which a lot of people aren't able to. And I don't think this will happen anytime soon, just because there's so much work left to be done. But I hope that people can have like boys and girls all around the world starting at an early age, and not just maybe higher education, can be educated and follow their passions like we are able to right
now. Marley, what is your vision for the future?
I hope to inspire more people to just be kind and to spread love.
Katie, what is your vision for the future?
I just hope that, you know, as a community, as a country, we can all work to make improvements to the state of our environment. And obviously, I wish that we could bring down the temperature of our environment and get it back to where it used to be. But, you know, that's a big part that we definitely need to work towards. It probably won't happen anytime soon, like Hersha, but I'm just hoping that I can inspire other people to get involved and help the environment in any way they can, even if it's just a small action just around their house, using less water or not using as many plastics. It doesn't have to be something huge, and I just hope that more people will get involved in the future.
And Bella, what is your vision for the future?
Yeah, so I guess just to wrap it up, like I definitely want to continue to raise like awareness for food allergies, and I also hope that someday like we will be able to find a cure for this. I also think that the price of like EpiPens should be like lowered, definitely, considering like how necessary it is for people like with food allergies and how large of a problem it is that people sometimes can't like afford this. I also think in general, like they have also said, like I think I want to inspire more people, like even you guys. Like I hope that you heard what we talked about and want to make like your own difference in the world and help out people with your own issue as well.
Okay, so those are our last questions, but if participants have any questions about what they just said, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself.
How did you know that this is what you wanted to do? Or did you have like anything else you knew that you wanted to do, but then you realized this is what you should do?
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know if someone else wants to go, but I can answer that. I definitely think that there are so many like issues I experience every day. Like I also help out with like environmental issues as well with Katie. Like I think there are so many issues that I do want to address. But I feel like personally I made like food allergies kind of my priority because I personally struggle with it, and I like just think that since I'm so like affected by it and I have to like deal with it like every single day, I feel like it's something I really wanted to pursue and find a solution to. So I think if it's something that you really experience every day and know that there needs to be like a solution, I definitely think that is what will show you what you should pursue.
Yeah, adding on to Bella also, like as you get older and in school or whatever you guys definitely should get involved in as many clubs or just organizations as possible. If you have a lot of different passions, pursue like as many as you can, because you never know what's gonna be your passion and your big thing that you're interested in. Like this definitely took me time to find like that I'm really involved and interested in helping the environment. And you're not going to have one clear passion. Like it's not going to be like, oh, this is all I want to do. You know, you should try out everything you can, because there's so many different things that I know I'm interested in and still am involved in. So just try out all of your passions and see what interests you the most. That's what honestly I recommend.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's okay to change your mind too.
Yeah, and I think it also is just like what inspires you. Like when you see it, you'll know, kind of like Katie when she went to Florida and saw all of the different things they were doing with the environment, like she knew it sounded like. So like when I visited the school, I knew what I wanted to do. And it's like your experiences kind of show you what type of like what passion you want to pursue. But yeah, you can pursue anything you want, and it can be multiple things, it can be one thing. Just do what you like to do.
Do we have any other questions besides that one? Or should we move on?
I think I'm going to thank you I'm sorry, Elise, but we have run out of time already. And what we're going to do is continue this conversation in the next session. And I think you have the email addresses, right, for the mentors if you have questions in the meantime. Evelyn, I want to thank you for facilitating or for moderating this session. You did an amazing job. And I want to thank our mentors who have shown a really tremendous example to all of our participants. You guys are really wise beyond your years and very inspiring to all of us. So thank you for sharing so much. We really, really appreciate it. We're going to leave you with a couple of questions today, and we'll be able to continue this conversation, like I said. As you begin to find your voice, ask yourself, what's something that you really care about? This is what our guests today were talking about, and what our mentors have also been describing, that they found something that really spoke to them. Ask yourself why it's important to you, and what can you do about it? And maybe it takes time to figure that out. Maybe you need partners to work on the issue with. But this is something that you have time to think about, and you have a whole bunch of people that you can speak to here in this group who could give you great advice about how to get started. Mentors, as Mrs. Mitchell is saying, you are very inspiring. So thank you so much, guys. We have a Mentimeter again today for you to tell us what you thought about today's session. So please go ahead and use your cell phones or whatever device you have, or you can log in through the link there. And while you're thinking about this session today and what you thought, I wonder if we have any volunteers. On December 10th, the Wilton League of Women Voters is having a steering committee meeting, and they would love to hear from a couple of participants from the Ms. President program to hear what your experience is like and what you think of the program. They are one of the sponsors for one of the scholarships for this year at least, and perhaps more in the future. And they are very, very interested in hearing about girls' civic engagement. So if anybody is interested, I saw Elise put a hand up. We would love to have maybe a middle school girl as well, and maybe someone who's maybe a 6th grader and an 8th grader, something like that. If you're interested, send me a message if you want, or pop it in the chat and we can let you know about the contact information for the meeting. We'd love it if you would be part of it. I'm gonna leave you with something inspiring here too, and you can rock out on your way out. Mrs. Mitchell, can you play the music? There are so many great youth movements happening around the world right now. The music in the last slide, yeah. You guys aren't just the future, you're the present too. And we see that, and we are so inspired by you. So thank you so much for being with us today, and put on your thinking caps about what your voice can best be used for and how to channel that. And we really look forward to seeing you at the next one. And in the meantime, you know how to reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.